Kodak Black will never change. Kodak Black is one of the biggest musicians of our generation. From being nearly blacked out on Kai Cenat's stream to literally getting arrested, Kodak has embraced controversy more than ever. In the years since, he's said and done whatever he wants, no matter how wild, and somehow, it's working. And while Kodak was never known for playing the PR game, something's changed. The charismatic kid once happily rapping in the 2016 XXL Cypher all of a sudden seems unpredictable. Rise of Kodak. Kodak's rise was cinematic. From being part of the legendary 2016 XXL Cypher to winning countless platinum plaques, Kodak became one of modern rap's biggest players, almost overnight, but not everybody welcomed him. Old school rap fans called him a mumble rapper, criticized his lyrical talent, and simply didn't respect him. This hurt his creative ego. Even as he was dropping deep lyrics about his life on the street, he didn't gain the reputation he deserved. Kodak grew up with old Southern rap and saw himself as a true storyteller, not just a trend. He worked on his craft and kept proving haters wrong, and now, after all these years, you can say, he's finally earning the respect he was always meant for. This showed the first sign of the same determination that would one day lead to his inevitable fall. Kodak was at the peak of his career after the release of his hit single Tunnel Vision. Shortly after, the beloved rapper Nipsey Hussle had just passed away. The rap world was grieving, but while Nipsey's family, fans, and other artists were busy paying their respects, Kodak took another route. He immediately claimed he'd give Nipsey's grieving widow Lauren London maybe a year or two to quit crying before he'd shoot his shot at her. This disrespect naturally didn't sit right with the rap community, making him lose the respect he'd been craving for all this time. And this revealed an ugly truth. Kodak will almost always choose attention over hard-earned respect. And that same impulsivity and lack of foresight that cost him the industry's respect would soon cost him his freedom. Just a few months later, he got arrested for trying to buy illegal firearms and got sentenced to 4 years in prison. He was f***ed. From the peak of his career, right to prison. But luckily for Kodak, that wasn't the end. Just 2 years into his sentence, the unthinkable happened. A presidential pardon. The literal get-out-of-jail-free card. The ultimate test if he could overcome the traits that landed him in jail in the first place. And he nailed that test. Not. Just a few months later, Kodak was pulled over and caught high behind the wheel. But that arrest wasn't just a single mistake, it was the beginning of the same old story, just on a new page. Part of Kodak's conditions for release was for him to get sober and be able to pass a drug test anytime. What he didn't do. Kodak failed so many drug tests in such a short time, it makes you wonder if he was even trying, proving Kodak had no respect for the same justice system that freed him in the first place. It was like he was stuck in a loop that just dragged him further and further down. The final bang for most fans was his appearance on Kai Cenat's stream. Kodak arrived drugged up, making random sounds, and even taking drugs live on stream.
What was that? That was a glitch for the Twitch.
Fans described him as a shell of his former self, a soulless body trying to entertain the people that once looked up to him. This was the stamp marking the test as failed. His pardon was a failed experiment, and we were left with just one question. Why? Why can't he change? The answer isn't found in flashy headlines or crime reports. It goes deeper than that. Growing up in Pompano Beach, Florida, means you don't get to grow up normally. Kodak's childhood was marked by violence, poverty, and the fight for survival. But this rough environment is what made his later art feel raw and authentic, and at the end of the day, successful. His past identity is the root of all of his problems, but also the root of his successes. An environment like this doesn't just hurt you, it scars you irreversibly. It rewires your brain to one thing and one thing only: survival. When you grow up in constant danger, your mind is locked in a permanent fight or flight response. It's not that Kodak is a bad person or likes to rebel. It's that his brain has been trained since birth to ignore future consequences and chase instant gratification. This is the mindset that leads you to spit out disrespectful comments on IG Live or drive under the influence of heavy drugs. If your mind is under constant pressure, all you crave for is a form of relief. But for Kodak, this freedom became a prison in itself. He's not high for fun, but to feel nothing. When we saw him drugged up on Kai's stream, barely functioning, that wasn't a man being silly, but a cry for help. When you put all this together, it becomes painfully clear. This is the story of a man trapped in a cycle, created by childhood trauma, that seems impossible to defeat. So will Kodak ever change? The answer is only left up to his will to be helped, and his dedication to improve. If you find yourself in a similar situation, don't lose hope. Seek professional help. We even have a support line linked in the description to call if you're struggling as well. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and check out our next video right here.